This is Console 1, a hybrid mixing system by Softube. Console 1 gives you the best of all worlds, the feeling of analog hardware and the freedom of software. Far beyond a simple DAW controller, Console 1 features real console sounds from legendary brands like Chandler Limited, SSL, Weiss, Empirical Labs, and Summit Audio, plus control over EQ, compression, and more. Here's how you get started with Console 1. Head over to softube.com and click Sign In to create your new account. Once you've created your account, head over to Support and go over to Installers. Once you're here, you need to get the Softube Central software. Go ahead and install the software and activate your product. Let's take a look at how we can use Console 1. Now, Console 1 is compatible with many DAWs. In this example, I'm going to show you how I use it in Cubase. First, we're going to make a few audio tracks. And on every single track, I'm going to insert the Console 1 plugin. Make sure that you have this across the board on all channels. Once you do that, you would see that your Fader 1 updates and your Console 1 updates to the number of channels you have added the plugin to. After we have added the plugin, you can see that I now have control on my fader for volume and pan. I can do the same with the Console 1. I have these buttons here that let me select the particular channel. So let's say channel 1, 2, 3, 4. I have the same buttons down here on Fader 1. And that gives me access to things like level and pan. Now let's check out the Console 1 panel. Whether you're on the Console 1 or on the Fader 1, you will have the display on and modes button. Pressing this turns on the overlay. Now we call this the Console 1 panel. This can be viewed in different modes. For example, this is the full view, a simplified view, a smaller view which doesn't disturb what you're looking at in your DAW. On top of this, you can float this anywhere. You can resize it or change the modes again to get back. Hitting the display button again gets you out of panel view. Just by adding the Console 1 plugin in your tracks, you get the capabilities to solo or mute various tracks. The Console 1 fader also allows you to take transport controls from the assignable buttons. So I can play, pause, forward, or rewind. Now these three buttons are assignable, so you can set them up in the control panel. Let's take a look at the control panel in detail. Towards the left of the panel, we have the input section. This is where you would find high cut, low cut, and your input gain. To the right of that, we have a gate. In the center, we have an equalizer. On the right side, we have a compressor. And finally, we have the output section on the right. Now the Console 1 ships with the SSL 4000E console by default, but you can load in any console. To load in a console, all you gotta do is hit Shift and hit Load. That brings up a list of all the consoles available. Select the console you would like to load. Hit OK, and that gets loaded onto the particular track. In this case, on track 1, I have the Empirical Labs channel strip. I can head over to track 2, hit load, and I can choose the Weiss. And now I have the Empirical Labs channel strip on track 1 and the Weiss channel strip on track 2. You can do the same from the fader as well. For example, I'm going to select track number 3. I'm going to go up to load my console. And let's put a British Class A console here. Hit OK. And that's loaded in on track number 3. Now, you don't have to commit to a full channel strip from the same manufacturer. You can load different components into your track as well. Let's take a look at how we do that. So I'm going to go to number 4, track number 4. I'm going to hit shift and I can load up, let's say, the British Class A gate. And for the EQ, I want the Chandler Limited Zender Bender EQ. And coming to the compressor, I want a VCA compressor on this channel. So that's how you customize your channel strip. Hit the display button again to hide the panel. Let's take a look at some of the controllers on the console one. On the hardware unit on the left, you have a readout, you have input gain, and you have your high and low cut. You also have an option to send the filters to the compressor for sidechain input. We've got a phase invert switch. Holding shift also lets you hit a secondary function, that is bypass, so you can bypass the entire channel strip. We also have a button for presets where you can bring up presets, or if you hit shift you can save your own. The next section is the shape section. Now turning on the shape activates your gate. Choose from the various parameters and set your gate. Here in the middle we have our equalizer. Turning that on gives you access to the 4-band EQ. We can choose between a cut, bell and shelf shapes. We have control over gain and frequency. Similarly, we have a parametric EQ in the center, so we can select our frequency and gain and curve, or Q. On the right side, we have a cut, a shelf and a bell. Coming to the right, we have our compressor. We can turn that on and that gives us access to all the parameters in a compressor. We have our ratio. We can choose a dry wet level here. We have attack time, release time and threshold. On the right, or the output section, we get a lot more features. We get access to a drive and we can choose the character of the drive, whether that's on the treble side or on the bass side. We also get access to pan. And lastly, we have the volume of the track. Now some of these features can be accessed in your fader one as well. Hitting the volume button here lets you control the volume of your track. The drive lets you add in the amount of drive. The character lets you choose between treble or bass. You can also control input gain, your low cut shape, or your high cut. And you can control your pan. Console 1 also helps you select the order in which shape, EQ and compression happens. You also have capabilities for external sidechain and choose where the sidechain sits in the signal. Let's take a look at Console 1 in action. Now here I have a session loaded up in Cubase, and as you can see, we have the Console 1 plugin loaded on each and every track, including the effects, including the master. Let's hit play. Now straight off the bat, I can start adjusting levels. all of this without even looking at the mixer and just using your ears. Let's take a look at how we can use the control panel now to introduce different channel strips onto our tracks. I'm going to hit the display button. And in this case, I'm on track number 1, which is the vocal. Let's take a listen to it. I'll solo it.
Oh, I've been searching for you, I've been broken into. You're my only cure. What tomorrow holds, I'm not sure.
Let's start by turning on the gate.
Oh, I've been searching for you, I've been broken into. You're my only cure. What tomorrow holds, I'm not sure. Places hot and cold, I've been there before, but you're only found when the love is free and not bound.
Let's move on to the EQ.
Oh, I've been searching for you, I've been broken into. You're my only cure. What tomorrow holds, I'm not sure. Places hot and cold, I've been there before, but you're only found when
I want to remove some of the boxy sounding frequencies from the voice.
Oh, I've been searching for you, I've been broken into. You're my only cure. What tomorrow holds, I'm not sure. Places hot and cold, I've been there before, but you're only found when the love is free and not bound.
That sounds about right. Let's add some low cut.
Oh, I've been searching for you, I've been broken into. You're my only cure. What tomorrow holds, I'm not sure.
Let's try some other bands.
Oh, I've been searching for you, I've been broken into. You're my only cure. What tomorrow holds, I'm not sure. Places hot and cold, I've been there before, but you're only found when the love is free and not bound.
Let's move on to the compressor. Going to turn that on here.
Oh, I've been searching for you, I've been broken into. You're my only cure. What tomorrow holds, I'm not sure.
I can go parallel with it.
Places hot and cold, I've been there before, but you're only found when the love is free and not bound.
Let's add some drive to the signal.
Oh, I've been searching for you, I've been broken into. You're my only cure. What tomorrow holds, I'm not sure.
We can adjust the characteristics of the drive as well.
Oh, I've been searching for you, I've been broken into. You're my only cure. What tomorrow holds, I'm not sure.
And don't forget, we have input gain as well.
Oh, I've been searching for you, I've been broken into. You're my only cure. What tomorrow holds, I'm not sure. Places hot and cold, I've been there before, but you're only found when the love is free and not bound. If you have a doubt in mind,
Let's do the same for the doubles. Here's the double vocal. Let's load up a different channel strip. Let's go with the Empirical Labs. Let's listen to that with both the vocals on.
oh, I've been searching for you, I've been broken into. You're my only cure. What tomorrow holds, I'm not sure. Places hot and cold, I've been there before, but you're only found when the love is free and not bound. If you have a doubt in mind, you gotta reflect, rewind.
Now the fader one also gives you access to your effect sends. In this case, we have two effect sends in this project. We've got one going to a reverb and the other one going to an echo or a delay. On the fader one, I have access to my send levels. Let's take a listen.
Oh, I've been searching for you, I've been broken into, you're my only cure. What tomorrow holds, I'm not sure.
That's the reverb.
Places hot and cold, I've been there before, but you're only found when the lover's free and not bound.
Control for the delay as well. Let's take a listen with everything else.
Oh, I've been searching for you, I've been broken into, you're my only cure. What tomorrow holds, I'm not sure. Places hot and cold, I've been there before.
Let's do the same thing for the double take.
Oh, I've been searching for you, I've been broken into, you're my only cure. What tomorrow holds, I'm not sure. Places hot and cold, I've been there before, but you're only found when the lover's free and not bound. If you have a doubt in mind.
Now very quickly, let's see how we can process the rhythm section, that is the bass and the drums of this track. I've sent the bass and the drums to a separate group called parallel compression, and we're going to add an instance of console 1 here, and I'm going to show you how easy it is to do parallel compression. Now in this instance, I don't want to use anything. No dynamic shape, no EQ, I just want to head straight to the compressor. So all I have to do is hold shift, press comp, and that just lets me load up any compressor from any of the plugins that are available. I'll select bus processor, hit OK, and that's loaded the bus processor onto my compression side. Hit compressor, I'm going to solo the drums and bass, and hit play. Let's adjust the compressor. I'm going to dial back the wet and dry mix. And let's see how that sounds. I'm also going to give it a little bit of drive. Let's bring in the other instruments.
I've been searching for you, I've been broken into, you're my only cure. What tomorrow holds, I'm not sure.
Now let's take a look at the instruments. I have a bunch of synthesizers here, especially the Junos. Let's put a strip on that one. Now this particular channel strip also gives me the option to add a little bit of stereo width. So let's see how we can do that. And if I go all the way to the left, it gets more mono.
Places hot and cold there before, but you're only found when the lover's free and not bound.
Let's see how that sits in the mix now.
I've been searching for you, I've been broken in two. You're my only cure. What tomorrow holds, I'm not sure. Places hot and cold.
The fader one also has a layer mode which lets you favorite a bunch of tracks if you want to hear them, monitor them, or just mix them. Let's take a look. Hit the layer button. Assign the track to the layer. I've selected these 3 pad tracks. And when I hit the layer button again, I instantly have access to them as my favorite tracks. Hit the layer button again to get out of this mode. With plugins, channel strips, and the Console 1 fader hardware unit, you can expand and customize Console 1 to your heart's content. Can an analog console do that? Give your eyes and your mouse a rest. Cross over to the future of analog mixing with Console 1. To know more, get in touch with your local Softube dealer or get in touch with Pro Musicals.